Google is one of the most valuable companies in the world, and their culture has influenced the entire tech industry, from compensation to performance reviews. To better understand how to level up as a software engineer, what better way than to look at the promotion processes at one of the best companies in the world, Google. Watch till the end to learn how to move up the career ladder and make the big bucks. So I have here a website called Promotions.fyi, but they basically created a website where you could figure out the performance review cycles for many companies. So if you don't know, I'm sure you know, Google is one of the biggest companies in the world, but let's see how they actually do ratings. So we have 5 indices. NI, which is not enough impact, which means that there's indicates several significant gaps in performance and you're drastically underperforming for your level. And this rating will result in an immediate firing or PIP. So maybe of all the people that actually filled out Promotions.fyi, 2% were at NI, so quite a small percentage. Then we have M, which stands for moderate impact, which is still below average. And there's some gaps in performance, you are very high risk for a PIP here. So maybe you don't get immediately pipped. Maybe they wait 6 months. Maybe they tell you like, hey, if you don't get your shit together, you might get PIP. Significant impact, I guess, is there. So meets, I would assume, is most of the company. And this isn't a nice bell curve. It's not the sexiest of graphs, but you can kind of see some trajectory, right? There's like a bell kind of shape to it. And so about 70% of people here said that they met expectations or had significant impact, which means it's an adequate rating. You are performing at your level, and almost everyone is here. Then we have outstanding impact, which means you're substantially going beyond the expectations of your level. And this rating is a major step towards promotion. So I'm assuming if you get O for one half and then another half, and then you ask your manager, hey, I want to get promoted, they look at the O's and they're like, okay, this dude's doing pretty well. I think it's probably time. And then we have T, which is as rare as probably an NI or an M, where you are really going far beyond. I mean, you might be a junior engineer basically performing at senior, like led an entire project, or you redefine some cultural aspect of the company. All right, evaluation. So compared to the previous perf system, perf just stands for performance or performance review, what they used to have, it was much more actually data driven, but now it seems like the manager has a decent amount of impact. Managers typically have personal plans set up with each report about the requirements to get an S rating. Again, this confuses me, but it's not S tier. This is just the meets expectation. And then software engineers are validated based on scope and impact, which is broken into the following criteria: contribution, the business results you drove, delivered impact, and scaled per level. Challenge, solving ambiguous technical problems, anticipating future issues, and showing design judgment. Influence, leadership for project delivery, team health, architecture, other initiatives. Expertise, bring a trusted authority on something is an important criteria for growth. And this is what I kind of come back to time and again. You want to become a subject matter expert. You want to be the person people think of when they're in a new code base, when they're like, I don't understand this. You're the person they go ask. And the document at the top, where it says author or point of contact, POC, it should say Namanh Kapur. You're like the person, right? That is a big step in understanding, are you actually getting better and better in your career? People are going to remember you as someone who matters. The more you matter, the more indispensable you are, the harder it's going to be for someone to lay you off because you're so necessary for the company's success. Okay, so it seems like the first step is a self-review, which is you write down what you did. So googliness is kind of like, I think they just want you to be a good person who's curious, helps people, and tries to get better, has a growth mindset. Then you have execution. Are you able to actually deliver projects in a timely manner? And the more junior you are, the more this is going to be indexed on, anchored on your ability to code well. Is your code clean? Can you code fast? Is it well tested? But then the more senior you get, execution depends on, are you able to lead people around you? You know, when the time comes, are you able to deliver on what you promised? That is execution. Thought leadership for project delivery. Yeah. So this, I think, matters much more when you're senior, but when you're junior, I think the question is like, do you have the potential to have thought leadership? Can you grow into some of these verbs? Problem solving skill, unlike using past experience and analytical ability to solve problems. Okay, cool. Again, so it matters that you have a good relationship with your manager, that you're both speaking the same language, because they're the one that's going to be synthesizing this feedback. Okay, let's go to my trusted source, Quora. Ideally, you should decide 6 months to a year ahead of time to try to get some good projects during that period and document all the things you did to make it successful. Sometimes your manager can help. It is best if you always try to keep this kind of documentation, because in non-promotion reviews, you can use the same kind of things to justify salary increases. This is a really good thing to talk about. Oftentimes people think you only get more money when you get promoted. And that's true. You get the bulk of an increase when you move up in a band, right? From L4 to L5 or L5 to L6. But that's not the only time you can make more money. In fact, every 6 months, you can ask for a raise. Companies should automatically be giving you inflation adjustment raises, and that's usually like 1 or 2%. But you can just be like, hey, I've been killing it. I want some more money. I've seen everywhere from 5 to 10% increases, right? So if you're making, I don't know, $100,000 a year, that's like an extra 10 grand. That's, a little less than $1,000 a month extra just for asking. And your manager, if they're really good, will just do this for you, and it'll be a surprise, and you'll be like, oh my God, I'm so lucky. But oftentimes you just need to ask, like hop on a one-on-one and be like, hey, I know it's only been a year. It's probably too early for promotion. I definitely still want to be on track for promotion, but I think I've been doing well. Here are some reasons why. I killed it on this project. The feedback's been looking really strong. I'd like to get some in-band adjustment, a salary raise. In the case of a non-promotion review, so this is when you just want to raise, there's less paperwork. Honestly, the manager just has to be like, this person deserves it, and then they'll just give you some money, right? There's always like budget for that. Frequently, people entirely outside your director and VP's organization have final say if it's not the majority of the debate. Your manager will be like, hey, I think they deserve it. And this is why chatting with your VP or skip, even if it's just on a quarterly basis, just putting time in their calendar. I mean, imagine how many people do that. If you're one of even 100 people that this person knows the name of, then when your manager says Namanh deserves to get some more cash, the VP will be like, oh yeah, Namann's great, right? But if they don't know who you are, it's gonna be so much harder. So bottom line is mostly you can do things to increase your odds, but nothing to get assured that you'll get promoted. Okay, this was kind of interesting. Someone posted on Hacker News on January 26, 2019. I've heard that getting promoted at Google is kind of a shit show, that your manager can't vouch for you, and it's basically up to how well you summarize and present your works to a faceless promotion committee. I think so. This has probably changed because it seems like from what I'm reading on Promotions.fyi that your manager now does vouch for you and does have an increased say in this new grad system. But maybe back in this time, it was purely data driven. And so if you weren't someone who could synthesize your impact and what you've been up to well, you probably wouldn't get promoted. The interview process is like a test for your final, your algorithm and data structured courses. I've never thought about it like that. Google is like academia, which I guess makes sense because Larry and Sergey were academics. In the past couple years, the company has tried to tone down promotion celebrations, at least in tech. So many of the broadcasted congratulations are gone along with the jackets. Fine with me, promotion season is nice for those who get what they asked for, painful for those who didn't, and in either case, something that should be private by default, like your salary. I actually disagree with this. I don't think salary should be private. I think we should talk more about it so people are empowered to negotiate and get the best compensation they can. Companies have so much data on us and we just don't. And in the entire process, we are always without resources and we're always the underdogs trying to get what we deserve without knowing what that even means. And so people should talk more. I hope people in the chat talk more. I hope people on YouTube and the tech community are more transparent about their compensation details, leveling, processes to get to where they are, because it's going to help all of us get better. And I think that is super, super important. All right, last but not least, we have the gold mine of the tech sentiment, oftentimes biased towards negative vibes. But it is what it is. It's not where, but which management. If you want to get promoted fast, make friends with management. I guess that makes sense. Hard, but fair. All right, finally, I want to know about the promotion process. L5 and L6 are two different jobs at G. It is not just doing the same thing better or faster. Do not think in terms you are being down-leveled. Think in terms of TC and chances of success. I've seen Amazon L6 being hired and failed to perform at L6 in Google. It's not a down level. Google is equivalent. L6 promotion is very hard. Getting in as L6 is also very hard, though probably easier than actually doing the promo. Really? I thought it was the opposite. I thought it was easier to get internally promoted to one of these higher levels than to come in at a higher level, but I guess it really depends who you ask. Most teams will probably not be willing to accept you as an L6 at team match phase unless you are really, really good both on paper and in your team match calls. Hiring an external L6 is a huge risk. Okay, so that's what I was saying. I think you oftentimes want to do it internally, but maybe when you look at the data, the number of people that internally get promoted is maybe less than external hires. I still think that's wrong. I'm nearing 1 year at Google with transformative impact. I was clearly lowballed. I spoke to manager and he agrees I'm L4, but manager tenure is too less for a promotion. What can I do to expedite a promotion? Damn, this person has 5 years of experience and is making 150K total comp? Oh, it's a business intelligence analyst. Damn, I was about to start yelling. If a software engineer, I'd be like, dude, you need to file a lawsuit. That's crazy. Hopefully by now you have an understanding of what it takes to get good performance reviews and get promoted at somewhere as big as Google. Google is one of the companies that has influenced career ladders, leveling, rating, raises, compensation across the industry, so understanding it is key. However, depending where you are, make sure to check internal company docs, do your own research because every company differs slightly. That's all I have for you today. I will see you very soon. Have a great day. Cheers.